Welcome back once again. Tonight I have a review for the Studio Series Wave 2 Deluxes for the Transformers brand. And this new wave consists of number 10, which is Jazz from the 2007 Transformers movie, and number 11, Lockdown from the Age of Extinction movie. These are both completely new molds. They don't have anything in common with any other toys, their predecessors, anything. So it's going to be interesting to get a good look at them. I do have their original toys to compare them to. That'll allow everybody to see the differences and, honestly, improvements and let you decide if these are worth picking up for you. First, we're going to look at Jazz. And Jazz's alt mode is a Pontiac Solstice. Silver one, obviously. Let's see, they actually have the little Pontiac symbol on the front there because this is a licensed product. You can see he has this weapon attached to the back here. It's for storage. You can take it off if you want to see the full vehicle mode. The spoiler attached there. And it's a very, very small car. Like the smallest car in the line thus far. The whole reason for this being is that the Studio Series prioritizes robot modes over their vehicular modes when it comes to scale. One of the tenets of the series is to have all the different robots in scale with each other. So Jazz is very, very down there on the robot scale. He's pretty much right there with Bumblebee. So the side effect of that is that his Pontiac form is really tiny. And when I say tiny, here he is with the 2007 Jazz. And look at that difference. It's like a clown car compared to the old one. Though this one is much better looking overall. Yeah, here's ugly old brownish gray Jazz there for your viewing displeasure. But despite its small size, it's a very competent car mode. Rolls just fine on its four wheels. There's no crazy kibble or anything. Even the underside, while, obviously has robot parts, it's pretty clean looking overall. Does have Jazz's face there staring at you, so it's a shame. But it works very well. And as long as you don't let the scale issues bother you too much, you'll be pretty happy with this form. And here's our look at Jazz's robot mode. You can see it's a very sleek looking robot mode. Doesn't have a whole bunch of big kibble, bulkiness. The only real kibble it has is the backpack, which seems to just kind of be a curse with Jazz toys. But overall, he looks very good, very dynamic. He's extremely posable. Head moves in every which way. Everything's on, either multiple hinges or ball joints. He has two different hands. He has one that's kind of like an open claw here, and then the other one which is done up in a grasping position to give you a 5mm hole there. And he's very lightweight. He does have ankle tilt, which is cool. And he's just, he looks very good. His proportions are just right. And that weapon you saw on his car mode, it's converted here for his robot mode. And you can see it has a 5mm post here, which allows it to be wielded, like any normal gun, and can be wielded by, this here. I'll hold it like that, which looks fine, but it actually has a more screen accurate configuration. Either of his hands can fold back to reveal these little nubs, and there's a slot here on the weapon that plugs into those. And there you have it. Mimics his gun from the movie there. Looks really good. It's kind of a, shield gun hybrid, which is always nice. And this guy can strike a lot of dynamic poses. So you can have him, all set up with the other toys in some sort of battle scene. Looks really good. And just so you can see how much he's changed, here's the original 2007 Jazz, who, just like with the vehicle mode, he's significantly larger. And he is much less screen accurate than this new one. I believe the old Jazz was actually based more off of some concept art or early CGI model compared to the finished product. So, the accessories are very different. He has kind of a shoulder mounted shield with like a sniper rifle. And one thing I've always kind of disliked about the old Jazz mold is his proportions are so weird. He's just got these really thick, really long legs, and the rest of his body's very tiny. It makes him look pretty alien, but it doesn't make him look agile. He looks almost like a bruiser in a way, which is not how the character should look. So, this newer version here, I, have no reservation saying is kind of the penultimate version of Jazz that we've gotten so far. Barring, a masterpiece down the road. Here we've got Jazz's display piece, and we've really seen this thing too many times by now. It's yet again the Battle for New York, same one that came with Brawl, same one that came with, was it Ratchet, I think? But it still makes for a very good backdrop for Jazz. Get him up there looking like he's right in the heat of battle. I am getting a little wary of just how much they're recycling these battle scenes, as if there's not enough, movie scenery or even artwork to choose from, but minor nitpick from me. The backgrounds are really just supplemental stuff. It's the figures that matter, and they absolutely crushed it with this new Jazz. Next we have our look at Lockdown, and Lockdown's alt mode is a very sleek gunmetal gray Lamborghini. They did an excellent job with recreating the actual car from the movie. It's very angular in design, very aerodynamic. He has a sword stored on this side and a folded up hook stored on this one. And they'll both slot in these long slots here. So go ahead and remove those. So you can see the full vehicle here. It just looks very, very nice. Here he is with Age of Extinction Lockdown. You can see some pretty obvious differences. The colors are quite different. The old Age of Extinction toy was a lot more brownish in appearance. Instead of having this kind of clear plastic to replicate authentic headlights, it just has them painted like bright blue there, which is a shame. And one thing you'll also notice is that the new Lockdown is a good bit bigger than the old one. So he kind of has the opposite situation from Jazz. Again, this does make sense because Lockdown in the movies was a fairly good-sized robot. I mean, he was pretty comparable in size to Optimus Prime in that movie, despite turning into a much smaller vehicle. So naturally, his vehicle mode is going to be pretty big in toy form to allow for that. And now we're looking at Lockdown's robot mode, and you can tell right off the bat this is a very detailed sculpt. See all the fine lines, the shapes and everything going on all over his body. They put a lot of effort into sculpting this guy. Yeah, swing around to the back. It's got his typical, car robot backpack thing going on. Back of the legs look a little messy too, but from the front side, he's pretty much perfection. He doesn't seem to have any meaningful ankle tilt at all, but he does have full range of motion in the rest of his legs. He even has a swivel on his waist, so that's nice. Arms are all ball joints. Head is on a ball joint there, so he can look around every which way. And he looks very, very grumpy, very menacing. His face almost has kind of a skull-like quality to it. And they did a really just fantastic job with making a screen-accurate robot here. And to make him even better, they have these accessories. And the sword here is meant to just plug in this way. This arm, a little wrist-mounted sword weapon. And then the hook is meant to kind of go over his fist. Kind of cover it up, give the illusion that it's extending from his wrist there. And yeah, he's got this very wicked hook weapon. And decked out like this, he looks incredibly dangerous. He looks like he's about to go and just tear through a group of Autobots, so The accessories are a wonderful complement for the toy. And to give you an idea of how much they've improved on this guy since the original, here is the old Age of Extinction. And it's a pile of garbage. It's one of my least favorite toys in my collection. In fact, if I had to make a list of toys I actually regretted purchasing, this would definitely be on it, because it was such a weak attempt at creating a lockdown toy. I mean, you could tell this was at a time when the movie-verse toys were kind of at their low point. He's way too small for lockdown. He's smaller than a lot of the other deluxes. The coloration is all off. I mean, there's just not a lot this guy has going for him. Very goofy proportions, almost kind of monkey-like. The only thing that the old lockdown has over the new one is that this big old thing can attach to his head and just kind of give him that cannon face appearance from early in the movie. That is like the one thing he has over the new lockdown toy. But it's a really goofy looking mode anyway, so I'm definitely not upset over that. But without question, the new Studio Series toy is just by far the superior of the two. Quick look at Lockdown's display piece. This one is a shot of his ship from the Age of Extinction movie, the inside, kind of like a hangar bay type area. So it's only natural that Lockdown be found inside of his ship, lording over his little unnamed minions and ugly little monster bot things. And this is, as of yet, a new background image. It's not recycled from anything yet, but I have a feeling the Shadowhunter retool of Lockdown will probably use the same one. For anyone that doesn't know, he is getting an orange retool that's meant to be like one of his minion bots. And the sculpting difference is that the new one will use the helmet face that Lockdown has in the movie as opposed to this one. So if you like that look for Lockdown, you might want to pick that toy up too. So there you have it, the two newest figures in the Studio Series line. These are two of my favorite that I've come across so far. I think they both are very well done molds. They capture, the essence of their characters in both the robot and the vehicle modes. They kind of have a distinction for being new takes on characters that previously have not really had good figures at all. At least in the case of most of the other characters that have been touched on so far, they've had some, a decent toy or two. These guys, not so much, especially Lockdown. The old Lockdown, like I already said, is just a total mess. And really not worth picking up, especially since this new one is here. I think Hasbro and Takara did a fantastic job on these. Kind of the figures of the characters you've always wanted. They scale well together, so obviously they'll scale well with the other toys. And they are part of a smaller wave. They're the only two new figures in that second deluxe wave. But at a time when there's so many new Transformers releases going on between this and Generations and even Cyberverse, if you actually want to collect those, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe, we could use a little bit of a break on our wallets. So, yeah, I fully endorse both of these figures. They're starting to show up in stores. I found these in a Walmart in Delaware, actually, because I was traveling a bit. So hopefully they'll be at a Walmart near you. If you happen to find them, definitely recommend picking them up, sharing your thoughts with the toys, see if you found anything about them I didn't cover, or if you have something just different to say. Maybe you don't like them. Maybe they're not your cup of tea. Though I would find that kind of hard to believe. But either way, love to hear what you guys think. Thanks for sitting through yet another rambly review with me. Hope you got something out of it. And with all that said, I will see you next time.